All right, so let's get right into it. If you're learning Chinese, you know that making vocabulary stick can be a huge challenge. Well, today, we're going to break down a really powerful three-pillar system from Dr. Izzy Seeley that's designed to completely supercharge how you learn and, more importantly, remember new words.
You know this feeling, right? We've all been there. You spend hours and hours with your flashcards. You're feeling good, you're feeling confident, and then you try to have a real conversation, and poof, nothing. It's like the words just evaporate into thin air. You're just standing there totally tongue-tied. It is incredibly frustrating.
So that's the big question, isn't it? How do you actually make those words stick? The secret isn't about studying harder or for longer hours. It's about studying smarter. It's about having a system to move words from your short-term memory into your active, usable vocabulary. And the answer lies in thinking about it as a complete system. You see, the problem for most of us isn't just about memorization. That's actually only one piece of a much bigger puzzle. To really succeed, you need a solid, stable structure to support all your learning efforts. And this is the perfect way to visualize it: the learning tripod. It's got 3 legs, and each one is absolutely essential. First, you prioritize. Then you memorize. And finally, you mobilize. Just think about a real tripod. If any one of those legs is weak or missing, the whole thing just topples over. You need all 3 for a stable, effective learning strategy. So let's dig into that first pillar, prioritizing. Before you even think about memorizing a single word, you have to ask a really important question. Am I even learning the right words? Because let me tell you, not all words are created equal. Okay, so the smartest place to start, by far, is with something called a frequency list. These are basically lists of words ranked by how often they're actually used in daily life. It's like a strategic shortcut. It helps you focus on the vocabulary that's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck in real-world conversations. And this chart shows you exactly why that's a game changer. It's the 80-20 rule in action. Get this. The top 1,000 most common words make up a staggering 80% of everyday communication. Just think about that. By mastering that core vocabulary, you unlock the ability to understand the vast majority of conversations happening around you. But, frequency lists are just the beginning. The next step is to create a list of words that are important specifically to you. What's your job? What are your hobbies? How do you introduce yourself and talk about your family? Building a personal list makes the language immediately relevant and useful in your own life. All right, so once you've figured out what to learn, we move on to pillar number 2, memorization. And listen, this is not about cramming. This is about building a deep, connected web of knowledge in your brain so that words aren't just isolated facts. They have context, they have meaning, they have connections. There are a few core techniques for this, and they work together beautifully. You've got spaced repetition systems like Anki, which are amazing for recall. You've got comprehensible input, basically just reading and listening a lot. But for Chinese specifically, this third one, character deconstruction, is an absolute game changer. Here's the deal. So many Chinese words are just logical combinations of simpler characters. So instead of trying to brute force memorize a word as one big chunk of sound, you can break it down into its building blocks. When you do that, you start to see the logic behind it. Let me show you a perfect example. The word for telephone is 电话. It's made up of 2 characters. The first one, 电, means electric. The second one, 话, means speech. Put them together, electric speech. It's a telephone. Once you see that, it's almost impossible to forget, right? And you see this pattern everywhere. Take the word for computer, 电脑. There's that electric character again, 电. This time it's paired with 脑, which means brain. So a computer is an electric brain. How cool is that? This method turns memorization from a chore into a really fun and fascinating puzzle. The other key technique is something called comprehensible input. Now, don't let the fancy terms scare you. It just means you should listen to and read things where you already understand most of what's going on. When a new word pops up, your brain can naturally figure out its meaning from all the surrounding context. This is how you build that mental web we were talking about. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most crucial pillar of all, mobilization. You've picked the right words, you've memorized them deeply, but now comes the big leap. You have to turn that passive knowledge into an active, usable skill. You have to bridge the gap between recognizing a word and actually using it. This question right here is everything. It's a total mindset shift. I mean, think about it. It's one thing to see a word on a flashcard and go, oh yeah, I know that one.
But it's a completely different skill to pull that word out of your brain on demand in the middle of a conversation and use it correctly in a sentence. That's the real goal.
So, how do we actually do that? Well, here are 3 simple but incredibly powerful exercises you can start doing today to turn that passive vocab into an active skill. Let's break them down. First up, for every single new word you learn, force yourself to create 5 different sentences using it. This is so important. It trains your brain to be flexible with the word, to use it in different contexts. And hey, if you get stuck, you can always use a dictionary app like Pleco, which has tons of example sentences to give you some ideas. Next, start trying to think in Chinese. Seriously. Instead of translating from English in your head, just try to describe the room you're in or what you're doing directly in Chinese. It feels a little weird at first, but it is such a powerful habit. And finally, find a language partner. Nothing, and I mean nothing, beats real-world practice. You can try to use your new words when you chat. A great little exercise is to write a short paragraph about your day using your new words. Send it to them and have them correct it, and maybe even send back an audio recording. That loop of active use and direct feedback is pure gold. So, when you put it all together, prioritize, memorize, mobilize, you can see that this system is designed to shift your entire goal. The point isn't to just collect a massive pile of words. The point is to become a confident, effective communicator. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? At the end of the day, success isn't measured by how big your Anki deck is. It's measured by whether you can actually connect with another person. It's about communication. So there you have it, a stable, 3-pillared system to stop those words from just evaporating from your brain. You have the framework. The only question left is, with this newfound confidence and this solid system, what are you going to say first?